Mr. Strauss, Mr. Strauss!
What?
It's that video you recorded 2 years ago. It's hit 15,000 views.
What video? I've got a lot of videos on my YouTube channel.
Yes, but only one of them has hit 15,000 views.
And which one might that be?
Here, I'll show you.
Oh no, you don't mean...
Yes, I mean it. It's that one.
No, it can't be possible.
Well, yes it is. It turns out that some people like listening to a cringy 12-year-old's voice talk about how to wire up this track piece.
I don't see how anyone could like that garbage.
Neither do I. It's a mystery what people do on YouTube. Well, if that's what the people of YouTube want, then I suppose that we have to produce it. But I thought that when we started 2020, we made a new rule that we weren't going to produce garbage content like that anymore. Well, if that's what gets the views, and if that's what pays the bills, then I suppose that that's what we're going to have to make. All right, if you say so.
75 years later.
What is this? The wires have taken over the yard. We came in and now we're gridlocked. Yeah, we don't know how to get out. If only someone could help clean up this mess. Yeah, we'd really appreciate to actually, get back on the tracks. Looks like someone doesn't know how to wire their easy track turnouts. I think, paused Hunter, that this calls for a montage on wiring Bachmann easy track turnouts. I'll drink to that, said Alex. Cue the montage!
So our first demonstration is going to be with this Bachmann steel alloy track, right-hand turnout. I think this is the kind of turnout that most people have because it comes in the My First Railroad Easy Track Pack. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take your wire and you're going to want to put it under this little slot here. There's a little slot here just for this wire so that the wire isn't interrupting the smoothness or flatness, level, so that the track is still perfectly level and there's no wires underneath it causing it to not be flat and level. So now that you've got your wire here, in the My First Expander Pack, or whatever it's called, you have these little switch machines, and this is what you're going to connect the green wire to. You will see 3 different metal prongs on 3 of the ends. This end is for connecting this switch machine to another switch machine. This end is if you're connecting this exact switch machine onto your terminal wire that goes to your power pack. And then the 3 prongs here is what you're going to connect your green wire to. So you're just going to take it and you're going to plug it in. It doesn't have to be forced all the way in. It will still work. And now that you have that set up, zoom out just a little bit. Alright, there, that's better. Now that you have that set up, you're going to take your power pack, plug it into any terminal track. This happens to be one of the nickel-silver track pieces with the gray roadbed, but it will still work. And you're going to do what you always basically do, and just connect 2 track sections. And of course, plug in your regular track terminal wire to the terminal re-railer track section. So now your power pack is hooked up to the terminal track section here, and now we are ready to hook up our switch to the power pack. So, this wire, it's a pretty long wire actually, it's a very long red wire. This also comes in the Bachmann Easy Track expander set, and it's got two basic wires coming out of the red plastic encasement. So you're going to want to plug this end into the switch machine, and you're going to want to plug it into the end with the prongs, this style of prong, not the side that looks like the frogs or rail clips that are on your track. So you're going to just want to plug that in there like so. And then you will find the end of this very long wire, and you will plug that. No, you won't plug it in. You will insert, there we go. You will insert these wires into the AC accessories area of your power pack. Bachmann doesn't give you a lot of wiggle room with these wires at the end to easily have them both join onto the ends here, so you may need to just pull them apart a little bit to give yourself a little more leeway and make it easier to plug it in. Just plug them in. So I'm just going to do this here. So that's one. And two. So now our wires are plugged into the AC accessories. I guess these little push plug things in here. So you need to push them down to insert the wires. You won't be able to just put them in because there's a flat metal strip in there that basically clamps the wire together, which is what allows the current to flow from your power pack into your switch machine or other accessory that you hook up. So now our switch machine is all hooked up, and we don't really need this bit on camera anymore. Just our switch machine and our switch. So now we're going to turn our power pack on, assuming that we have it plugged into a wall. And once it's on, we can begin using our switch. So you can't just operate the switch just by flipping it. It won't work that way. You have to press down until you hear the buzzing sound. Once you hear the buzzing sound, you know your switch is ready to be flipped. So you can press it down and then switch it. And now your switch has changed direction. You can also flip your switch like that and then press down. That will also flip the switch. You don't actually have to press down and then drag it over. You can do whatever works best for you, whatever's more convenient. It really doesn't matter. So that's basically how you wire up any old switch. And that's the same thing for pretty much all these standard Bachmann turnouts, and whether it be number 2 or number 4, number 5, all the different degrees of how the radii of the track. So next I'm going to show you with a different sort of switch that's pretty much the same thing, but there is another wire in there, just so that you don't get confused with the wiring setup here. Alright, so this next track section is actually a bit expensive switch, but I managed to pick it up for real cheap at a train show, and I just couldn't resist the price. It was like $5, and I know that they're a lot more expensive than that. And it's in reality just a pretty cool looking switch. So there is another wire on the bottom here, and this is to power the electrically powered frog in the middle, so that since it's such quite a long switch here, so that your trains don't stall on it. But then again, it is the same thing as the standard switches with your green wire, and plugging it into the switch machine. Oops, just shook the camera. Just plug it in and then it functions just the same. Once you plug in your terminal track, of course. So yeah, that is basically the whole gist of it for this kind of switch. I just wanted to show you how to wire this one up as well, even though it's the same thing, just because of this extra wire in case someone were to get confused and wonder what this was for. I guess you would plug this in somewhere on your transformer to get this electric rail frog electrified, but I'm not exactly sure where you plug it in since it's only one wire. I'll have to look into that, do some research on that, and see where this actually goes, because I would like to use this switch and don't want your trains to stall since it's such a long split, I guess. Most busy railroad yards usually have more than one switch all throughout them, and the Bachmann Easy Track Expander Pack thing supplies you with four switch tracks. There are 2 left-hand and 2 right-hand, so you can create sort of these layouts with them. And Bachmann also does supply with you 4 of the switch machines to control each of the tracks that it supplies. So what we're going to do now is wire up multiple switch machines, except you don't really need to do the whole wiring schematic thing that we did in getting this wire to our AC power terminal. They only give you one wire, and instead they have these little rail joiner clips on here that simply plug in to the next switch machine. So you can do as many of these as you want. If you were to buy some separately, I don't think that there is a limit to how many switch machines you can plug into each other. I haven't tested that yet since I only have these 4. And then you're just going to wire up your corresponding switches to the corresponding switch machine. So then you just wire up your corresponding switches into 3-prong plugs. And it doesn't hurt to maybe take like a white Sharpie or a paint pen and write maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, so then you know which switch is which. It's like you know which switch you're switching. Bit of a tongue twister there. So yeah, once you wire up all your switches, then it just functions just like how the first one did. You can just do multiples at a time. My first railroad Bachmann Easy Track Expander Kit thing, Bachmann also supplies in this tangled mess, I think about 2 or 3 extension cords essentially, which you can use the male and female ends to plug into your switches and switch machines so that you can extend the reach of the initial switch wires, so that you don't have to have all your switches at the front of your layout or all the switch machines at the front of your layout, so you can have a switch in the back, and so just like a regular extension cord would do. So yeah, that's basically it. And that is how you do all the different wirings of the switches. Oh, it seems like this one fell out. So that's how you can wire up multiple switch machines, wire up one switch, wire up different kinds of switches. So yeah, I hope that this has helped you. If you had a question about how to do this, I know that I was certainly stumped when I first got this on how to do this, so I'm sure it'll probably help someone out on how to do this. So I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more.
Soon the yard had been cleaned up, and the engines of the Blaxland Ridge Railroad had gone back to performing their usual duties. Well, it seems like my work here is done. But wait, there's more. Cue the second montage!